What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Chris, aka That Cadillac Guy, coming to you from my ratty garage. Still repping the Hoosier gear, Vice Grip Garage hat. Shout out to them. And as promised, today's crazy story is about the time I had a loaded shotgun pointed at my head. That's legit. Not a lot of people can say that, fortunately. So anyway, here's what happens. When I was 16, I worked, my very first job was at this place called Max Hamburgers. It was in Muncie on Madison Street, which was like the main cruise, like kids cruise their cars up and down Madison Street. So I had a 71 Camaro with Krager's, Kelly Green. It was super nice. I would park it around the edge of the parking lot so everybody could check it out. But anyway, as I mentioned before, I partied, and my crew partied pretty hard. But these Muncie kids, like, they had no regard for boundaries or safety. I mean, they just went like overboard. Like, we could maintain our high. Like, these guys just went, crazy. One time, one of the guys had his dad's big old Buick. There was like 5 of us, and we were drinking and smoking and stuff. We piled in this Buick and just start going down the Muncie bypass. It was the summertime, the windows were rolled down, and I happened to be in the middle of the back seat. There was 2 guys up front and then 2 guys in the back of me in the middle. And he's just got this Buick flat out on the bypass. And they're just like, go, yeah, go, go. And I'm sitting in the back going, yeah. And I'm out to the speedometer go 70, 80, 90, 100. I'm just like, this thing's going over hills, bouncing. Like, we were one flat tire away from death. It was just like, they were just like, yeah. So anyway, there was a few instances of that where I was like, man, these folks are nuts, man. They don't play. They were good people, but there was a guy that worked with us who was a couple years older. His name was Chuck. And he was like the weed dude. He was like, hey, if y'all need weed, just let me know. I was like, cool, And I come to find out that Chuck and his brother were like legit weed dealers. Like, they moved a bunch of product. They were the guys in Muncie, like one of the guys. So I don't know why he was there working. It might have been a front, but, this dude sold a lot of weed. So I was like, Chuck, I need some weed. He's like, yeah, no problem, dude. He said, I don't have any with me. He said, you have to run by the house. He said, I'm not going to be there. But he said, here's what we can do. He said, walk into my garage. He said he had a unattached garage from his house. And it didn't have a door or anything. You just walk in. But he said, when you walk in the garage to the left, there'll be a big pile of tires. He said, I'll leave the weed in one of the tires. You just leave the money there. And when I get back, I'll get it. It's all good. I'm like, okay, cool, dude, thanks. So I worked my shift that night, and at the end of the night, the manager of the place, he was a younger guy. I mean, he was married, had a kid, but he was probably 25 maybe. But he partied too, like, you guys gonna smoke? He was a stoner dude. So somehow he found out I was gonna get some weed, and he was like, hey man, I'll run you over there, if you'll smoke some with me. And I was like, okay. So, God, what was that crazy noise? Anyway, hopefully it's not a bulldozer tearing down my ratty garage. But, so he said, I'll take you over there. I was like, okay, cool. So it was a short drive over to Chuck's house, and it was kind of dark. They had a gravel driveway. It was a little bit dark. Their neighbor had like a back porch light that kind of illuminated, but it was pretty dark. But I had been there before, so I was like, okay, let me check this out. So I get out, I go in the garage, feel in the top tire. Sure enough, there was a bag of weed. Well, sure enough, there was a big old bag of weed. Like, I only wanted like $10 worth or something, because, I wasn't, a big dealer, smoker or nothing. And I was like, that can't be it. And I started searching around the tire, and there was nothing else in there. And I was like, man, that dude hooked me up. I mean, it was a big old sack of weed. I was like, okay, I'll put my little money in there. So I come back to the car, and I sit there, and I was telling the guy, I said, man, Chuck hooked me up. I was like, man, check this out. It was just like a bunch of weed for $10 or whatever. And I hear tick, tick, tick. I was like, I look over, and there's this dude standing there with a shotgun. I don't know how far my head is from the window and how far the gun was from the window, but it was like this far. Going, hey, motherfucker, are you trying to steal from us? I was like, dude, no. Like, I was freaking out. I was like, no, dude, I couldn't even speak right. The guy who was driving was like, man, we were just freaking out. And I was like, no, man, Chuck told me, I work with Chuck. I was coming over here. I was stumbling my words, and not only was this dude standing up with a shotgun, but he was like, man, like wasted. I was like, oh my God, dude. Like, I was like, and I finally, somehow, got it out that hey, I work with Chuck. He told me to do this. That's what I did. That's why we're here. He was like, okay, yeah, all right. He's like, I think, yeah, have you been over here before? And I was like, yeah, dude, yeah. I said, hey, bro, can you put that gun down? Because he's sitting there talking to me like, oh, man, my bad. And I'm like, hey, can you just lower that gun down? He's like, oh, yeah, cool, my bad. My heart was pounding out of my chest. This dude with me was freaking the F out. And, this dude was, who it was Chuck's brother, who I'd maybe met once. And he thought, like, we were ripping him off, going in the garage and stealing stuff. Because apparently Chuck didn't tell him, hey, these dudes are coming over. So, in a way it kind of made sense. But to have a wasted dude with and then, I don't know much about guns. I know it was a big, giant shotgun staring at me. And he, like unhinged it or broke it. I don't know. I'm stupid right now. But so the barrel went down. You could see the shells in the thing. He was like, yeah, man, I was going to blow people away. And I was just like, yeah, dude, we're good, right? He's like, yeah, my bad. So we leave. And the whole time, man, this dude's with me. His face is just white. My heart pounding. We get back to the restaurant where my car was. At that point, he was like, man, I'm going home, dude. Like, that was intense. I was like, you're not kidding, bro. That was crazy. So, I mean, that was the story. That was the time. A drunk dude had a loaded shotgun pointed right at my head. It's not a good feeling. I mean, there's probably, like I said earlier, there's probably not a lot of people who have experienced that. But, he could have killed me and just said, oh, I thought somebody was stealing from me. He's obviously a marijuana dealer or something crazy, because I'm laying there with my head blown off and weed everywhere. But, 16 years old, man, don't do drugs, kids. You can find yourself in some hot water. But that was the story, it's true. And I learned a lesson. I'm not exactly sure what I learned. And I remember seeing Chuck like the next week. He's like, hey man, my brother told me. I was like, yeah, dude, why did you not tell him? He said, well, I didn't think much about it. I was like, bro, like, if you ever set that up again, please tell your brother who's ever home what's up, because your brother about killed us. So anyway, that's the story. I appreciate you guys watching the video and liking and subscribing and sharing and all that stuff. I guess there's a little bell you can hit that lets you know when my newest video's up, so you can hit the bell so whatever. I don't know. But I think my next crazy story is going to be the time that I thought it was going to be blown up by a bomb. Legit. Like, again, how many people could say that? Yeah, I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to explode. I thought a bomb was going to blow me up. That'll be my next story. So, anyway, as always, never drive faster than your angels can fly. I'm out. I'm kind of out. Now I'm out for real.